My next guest is the first female president to lead Miami-Dade College. And if any of you watch my shows, Miami-Dade College is one of my favorite institutions in this country. As President Madeline Pumariega, excuse me, Madam President, has been focused on working with leading employers and tailoring programs to build a talent pipeline. I've been down there. It's also hosted more people running for president of the United States in both parties than any others. It's one of these really cool catch-all places, but I want you to tell the story, Madam President, and I'm going to get Pumariega right. My apologies. But how are you today? And tell us a little bit about the role that Miami-Dade is playing right now in helping the talent pipeline get stacked with people that have these skills in the so-called upskill track.
So great to be with you this afternoon. You know, Miami-Dade College is democracy's college. We are that pipeline, that economic pipeline for so many in our community who come looking for that American dream, that they get their start at Miami-Dade College, and whether it's preparing them to transfer to one of our state universities or it's preparing them to work. We are that economic engine for our community. And what the pandemic has really done is accelerate the future of work. We probably thought we had 2025 or maybe 2030 for what the future of work would look like. And what we've seen with the acceleration of technology and innovation during the pandemic, the future of work is now. And so preparing our students for what they need, the skill sets that they need to be competitive in this job market, and work with companies to upskill their employees. As we moved to remote working, so did the private sector, as the public sector did. And some of those jobs won't ever come back. And if they do, they'll come back with certainly much more of a focus on technology and AI and cloud computing, those kinds of innovative technologies that are leading the way for our economic recovery and for jobs of the future.
I'd love to talk a little bit more about cloud computing and AI and what you're doing and the partnerships you have. And I'll tell my audience that when I was down at Miami-Dade, I was really fascinated to just see how robust the partnerships. It's not the typical community college. I mean, you have science programs, you have big science grants, and you have a National Science Foundation grant, in part, helping you to develop a curriculum in the AI space. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. You know, I really think AI is going to change the way that we learn, the way that we work, live, play, travel. And instead of looking at it from a perspective of computer science, we're really looking at it from an interdisciplinary approach. That means that our students in healthcare programs need to know AI and what happens with AI and data science. We know that our teachers do as well as the students pursuing engineering and STEM careers. So we've partnered with SoftBank and created a data science operator school for entrepreneurs in our ecosystem to come in and upskill on data science. Our bachelors of applied science in data science and analytics. The companies are coming in to hire our students before they even complete the program. And then we've launched a great partnership with IBM, who invested more than $10 million in providing software support and expertise in our initiative, AI for All. And you see that also with additional investments from the National Science Foundation and other US DOE programs that we have. But I think what's really critical is the partners, the industry partners that are coming in. For example, Amazon Web Services really helped us launch our cloud computing program so that it met their needs. And this past summer, we had 2 students start full-time with AWS with their associates in science degree, not a program that traditionally was a 4-year hire. And so what we're seeing is the importance of stackable credentials. How can a certificate lead to an associate's and associates lead to a bachelor's? This 4-year linear kind of pathway into a university may not be for everyone, but we do know a post-secondary credential is so important to economic mobility.
Madeline, how are you folks dealing with the pipeline of talent when it comes on gender issues. I know that Miami-Dade has this program called Women Rise, Reinvigorating Industry Support and Empowerment Program. But we talk a lot about it, and I guess at a level of results, if you were to look at Silicon Valley today or the biggest high-tech companies, I know a ton of really outstanding women at the highest level. But if you're honest about it, we still have not solved the problem. A lot of folks I know hate the word pipeline, but let's call it the talent track or whatever, so that people are coming up behind those folks. That there still seems to be a wobbliness in that, and I'm wondering what you're finding. How are you seeing this, and what can other institutions copy that you're doing?
So I think, talent is the new economic currency. Anyone that you speak to knows, whether it's a business leader, governmental leader, they need talent. And I think that they need diverse talent. So what we're doing is making sure, and you said it right, it's this talent pipeline and ecosystem, working with partnerships in the community as early as middle school, getting especially our female students to see themselves in STEM careers, see themselves in coding camps. Our cybersecurity program, I'm so proud of them. They've just competed in a national competition and went from the 6th spot to the number 2 spot, but the number 1 spot in terms of individual competition, it was one of our female students, Amy Reyes. And we see that time and time again. I think representation matters. We have to have faculty that represent women in technology, and we do that. Our leadership team does, and the partnerships that we have with our community partners and business leaders do as well. In terms of the rise, it's that intentionality of making sure that our female students, which 57% of students enrolled at Miami-Dade College are women, that they have the real-time support that they need to excel in math and science courses, that they have access to paid internships so that they can have that real work experience along their peers and along their male colleagues, if you will. So I do think it needs intentional design and support. It needs strong partnerships and linkages. It really does need to start early in terms of partnerships with our K-12 leaders and schools, and then making sure that while they're at Miami-Dade College, we're building those pathways and the opportunities to compete and excel, not only locally, but nationally as well.
Let me squeeze in a last quick question from Nancy here, who's asking an interesting question about ageism. And there's going to be this big infrastructure bill that comes down. The infrastructure bill is probably going to have some significant amount of worker retraining money that goes out into the system to help people do it. But there's kind of a bias. We're always talking about young workers. I know Miami-Dade College trains and educates people across the age spectrum. Is there an age problem that we think about? Can our elder workers that have a lot of experience, also be upskilled?
Absolutely. I think leveling up, the kids love to say leveling up in gaming, and I think we all have to level up. That includes us and our workforce. As you said, the average age at Miami-Dade College is 26. And I can tell you here in Florida, we passed House Bill 1507. The Speaker, Chris Sprowls, really led this, and it was modernizing the workforce system so that everyone has access to upskill while they're at work or if they're looking for a new position. And I think streamlining that's going to be important, and then working with business leaders to make sure they're investing in their workforce by working with colleges, and especially with us at Miami-Dade College, to help upskill and level up the incumbent workforce.
Fascinating. Well, listen, Madeline Pumariega, how's that, Pumariega? Thank you so much for joining us today. I really look forward to meeting you in person at Miami-Dade. I have really find it such a fascinating, I don't know what to call it, a smorgasbord of interesting educational opportunities and what you're doing. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and please come visit us.